Guy Phillips, but it is the B team as we're calling ourselves today. Bob Ramsey, and we have Sherry Farmer, myself, Matt Dorman, and Jeff Groby from SumnerOne. What's going on, sir?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you back. And actually, we already have a caller who has a question for you. This is Steve in Edwardsville. Steve, what you got?
My question is this. I don't watch a lot of, but I think that the DVR functions are awesome, where you can pause, rewind, rewatch, slow motion, all that. I'm wondering when that's going to be available for radio, because there's many times that I would like to replay a song or listen to a news item, and it just doesn't seem to, nobody even discusses.
Huh.
That's probably going to be more of a licensing situation with music.
Well, and I used to have a car that I could rewind just, I think it was about 5 minutes backwards, and then I could pause and play. So I don't know, maybe your car has that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, but my wife has a brand new car. I drive no pickup. I love my pickup. But she has a brand new car, and it doesn't.
I would say the key there is Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify's good, yeah, and the car was a good example because I know a lot of the new cars, if you have Apple CarPlay, if you get a phone call that preempts what you're listening to, it will buffer what you're listening to in the background, and then as soon as you hang up the call, it will catch it. It will bring it up again.
To catch it back up.
Yep.
Well, thanks for your call, Steve. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. And so today's topic is actually webcam security, right, Jeff?
Yep.
Okay. So we got a song lined up here for you.
We were so excited to play that.
Yep. I recognize that part.
Preparation that went into that.
There was.
We were so proud of ourselves, and I realize now that we just look like a bunch of losers. Okay, so I'm gonna
a bunch of nerds here.
Yep. Yeah, webcam security is a big deal, and it's something that people need to be concerned about, and a lot of people take it for granted when they buy these devices that have cams in them.
Yeah, I give my husband trouble all the time because he takes his cell phone to the bathroom with him. I'm like, people are watching you take care of business, and that could actually be the situation.
That could be the situation.
How does that work?
Well, for the cell phones and the iPads and stuff like that, it's probably not that big of a deal because most of the time those things are moving around, and unless you actually invoke a program or download something that is a bad program that's going to monitor that. In the Apple world, it's not so much a problem, but if you're in the Google world where the store is not as controlled as closely as Apple controls the iTunes store, you very well could get an application where anytime you have the device facing you or doing anything like that, it's recording what it hears, recording what it sees, stuff like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't take it in the bathroom.
And so the webcam thing, too, though, how you have a webcam on your computer?
Yes.
How exposed are you?
Exposed enough that I recommend you cover it up unless you're explicitly using it. I would go ahead and put like a binder clip over it or something to cover it up.
I have a Post-it note on mine, and then I've also seen some little gadgets in which have like a little sticker on it, and you can slide it. When you want to use it, you slide it open, and then you slide it shut when you don't want anyone to see you. There
was a very famous interview with Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook about a year or so ago, and when they interviewed him, in the background he had his MacBook, and he had a piece of black tape over the camera.
Yeah.
So if he's doing that, it's something we should consider.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to bring up. Even if Mark Zuckerberg is doing it, and he's leading this gigantic tech company, I feel like if he's not safe, then I'm probably not safe either. Although then again, people are probably way more likely to try to get into his laptop and check out what he's doing than they are to try to find out what Storm and Dorman over here is up to.
They check into Matt's and they go, and just shut it off immediately.
And that brings us to another good point, too, especially when it comes to CEOs or C-level executives of companies. Whenever an IT department is prepping a device for the C-level executives, one of the things that I would recommend is to cover up with tape and stuff like that, because those people are targets. Yeah. Just by being who they are, they're targets.
Yeah, us little commoners don't have to worry as much. We should still worry, but not like those CEOs.
Exactly.
And don't think, well, it's video. I'm just sitting at my desk, but what you're talking about, information casually passed on to someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. These devices hear very well. If you've ever used Macintosh and you've used like a Zoom conference or something like that, you can pretty much be anywhere in the room and it picks it up very well. So it's very good at isolating your voice and video. And
the other part of that too, along with the webcam, is it true? So most laptops, and correct me if I'm wrong, they come with a built-in microphone, right?
That's correct.
So you can do like a Skype call or whatever.
Yep.
So I think also in that same picture, am I wrong when I say it looked like Mark Zuckerberg had kind of like a headphone adapter that was put in with it snipped off at the end. So
absolutely.
So it makes your computer think that there's a microphone attached, but it actually just leads to nowhere because
there's no signal.
cord.
Yep.
Correct.
And that's that. In addition to the video camera, I would also do that for the audio.
Oh,
as well.
wow.
And that's another point to consider is if you have children that are on the web and using these devices, definitely as a parent, I'd recommend that you don't let them have unfettered access to the webcam and stuff like that. So.
I think you should just keep your kids off the computer. Totally.
So kind of going back to the original thing, though, with webcam. So say I'm a CEO or say I'm somebody of importance, because I'm not. But,
okay, wait a minute. I got to think about. Oh, okay.
You know what?
Fantasyland. Let's go.
Oh, the world of imagination. No. So let's just say I am concerned about somebody coming after me. What would it take for somebody to get on, or what steps should I take in order to not compromise my computer or my webcam?
There's really a couple things that you can do that are going to really ensure that you don't. Number one is just take the precautions not to have it on and pointing and listening, at the times that you're in there talking and don't want to be seen or heard.
Sure.
But in addition to that, quality equipment is one of the primary things. So if you're going to have a webcam that you've purchased and you're going to use it for video conferencing or something like that, don't buy some brand you've never heard of that has some Chinese sounding name. Fort Leonard Wood went through this recently. They had a series of Chinese cameras all throughout the base, and they removed every last one of them and replaced them with a well-known brand because the company that built them was a Chinese company, and that particular device hadn't been caught, but other devices that company built have been caught sending images back to China.
Oh, my goodness.
And that is definitely something we do not want happening with our military. I imagine it's very difficult to keep them
and
safe.
so your cheap brands that you don't recognize, there's a very good chance that they could be storing data and sending it to some site that you don't want it to go to.
So we had someone text in, and I think you might have covered this, but I'm not 100% sure. They asked, so should we also cover up the cameras on our phones as well on the front and back?
Not necessarily, because the phone really, unless you're like I said, if it's an Apple phone, I think you have a lot less to worry about. Now, that being said, if somebody really wants to come after you and really wants to capture video and audio of you, there's going to be ways that they can do that and get around anything.
Yeah.
But for an average user, I think if you're in the Apple environment or ecosystem, it's not a big deal. On the Android, I'd be a little bit more picky about which apps I use that turned on the web camera and the audio part of it.
It's kind of more reason to be a nice person.
Exactly.
So no one's following you or trying to.
Yeah.
And you had a question, didn't you, Bob?
All right. Really stupid, I know, but my teenagers, although they didn't really give it a lot of time, couldn't figure it out, so I figured it might not be that dumb of a question. So on my iPad, I'm going through scores and stuff every morning, and it doesn't happen all the time, but like today, every couple of minutes, this would pop up. The congratulations, Amazon.com user, and you have to, you can't just, there's no X to get out of it. You have to shut everything down, come back and start again, then it pops up again. What do I do?
That's called a browser hijack, and what I generally tell people to do with that is just reset their device. So make a backup of all your settings using iTunes or using iCloud, and then just hit the master reset button and reset it, and it'll put a new copy of your browsers you'll be able to.
So it wasn't a dumb question.
No, it's not a dumb question. Browser hijack is very common, and typically if you answer one of those browser hijacks like that, then you're really in trouble because then they're going to send some nastiness your way. So.
Wow, okay, good. That's great. Thank you.
He may have just saved your life,
No
Bob.
question about it.
But, of course, these big companies, you can help them out with all these matters.
Absolutely. We'd love to talk to anybody that has any concerns about security around webcams, audio, conferencing, video conferencing, you name it. So.
And they can find you guys at SumnerOne.com, is that correct?
SumnerOne.com, yep.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff Groby. This man is a wizard with computers and just everything technologically advanced. I wish one day I wanted to learn how to hack somebody's computer. Not because I just want to do revenge hacking. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah, let's not do that.
Okay, well, for now, I'll just let people hack me, and I won't get back at them. How about that?
We can set up a machine that's a test machine, what we call a honeypot machine, and show you how the hacking occurs if you want to do that.
Oh, that would be
fun.
And
then that way there's no victim.
Okay. Cool, let's do it. All right, well, hey, somebody that does need to be hacked is probably our buddy Tim Weiland.